All right, so I know some of us were a little confused about assignment number 2, so I want to go over it again and maybe hearing it from my voice will help. So, we have this problem here, and it talks about a high school band traveling to Washington, D.C. to perform a concert. And they're going to make money from doing this concert. And the money that they make is given by this equation. So, we have this equation here and this equation here, and it says they define the same function, meaning these two equations look different, but if we were to do the math from one to the other, we would be they actually mean the same thing. Just like hello and hola, two separate languages mean the same thing. So it talks about the revenue, the money they make from their ticket sales is a function of the ticket price X. What are the ticket prices at which the band would make no money at all? So if they made no money, they'd make $0. So we need to use one of these equations. And to make this a little simpler, we don't know how to use this one yet. We don't know how to solve it because there's two x's in there, there's an x squared. So we're not going to pick that one at this time. We are actually going to always pick the one with parentheses. So this one here, we're going to bring it on down and we want to know when will they make no money. So we're going to take this whole thing, we're going to copy it. X minus 6 as the first parentheses, 250 minus 5x as the second parentheses, and we're going to set that equal to 0 because they have made no money. All right, I'm going to zoom out for a second. Move it on up here. Okay, next step. We now need to set each parentheses equal to 0. We're going to split it up as if it's two problems. All right, set this one up into x minus 6 equals 0. That's the first one. And let's take this over here, 250 minus 5x. I'm just copying what's in the parentheses, and I'm going to set that equal to 0. So now we're going to treat these like two separate problems. So the first one, this one over here is the easiest. We want to get x by itself. So all we have to do is we see minus 6, so what's the opposite? Plus 6. If I add it to the left side, I've also got to add it to the right side. All right, negative 6 plus 6 is 0. So I'm left with x. 0 plus 6 equals 6. So if they charge $6 for the ticket, they're going to make no money. That's what we wanted to know. Now let's go over to this one. My line down the middle, zoom out a bit so we have enough room here, or move it up a little bit. Okay, there we go. Okay. Now this one's takes a little bit longer, but we can do it. All right, so the purpose is to get this x eventually by itself. So it says x equals something. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to get rid of this positive 250. The opposite of positive 250 is minus or negative 250. Subtract it from the left side. Got to also subtract it from the right side. All right, 250 minus 250 is 0. That goes away. And we got to remember, this whole thing needs to be brought down to the next step. And then 0 minus 250 is negative 250. All right, sorry for my handwriting. Last but not least, again, we need this x by itself. So all we have to do now is divide by negative 5. Divide by negative 5. Those cancel out. X equals, and if you did negative 250 divided by negative 5, you would get positive 50. And now we have two ticket prices that they would make $0 from. If they were to charge $6, they would make no money. Or if they were to charge $50, they would also make no money. So clearly $6 is too little to charge, and $50, people aren't willing to pay that much for a ticket, so they're also not going to make any money. And now we're done. All right, so let's do one more problem very similar to this one. All right, so very similar problem. We're now talking about, we have two expressions, this one here and this one here, define the same function. The function models a revenue a school would earn from selling raffle tickets at P dollars each. At what price or prices would the school collect $0 of revenue from raffle sales? Show your reasoning. All right, so again, just like the last one, we're not going to use this one. We're only going to use the one with parentheses. At this point, that's all we know how to do. So we're going to bring this down. We're going to set it equal to 0 because it says we want to know when do they make no money, no revenue. All right, now we're going to take each of these. Now we don't have parentheses around the p, but it's its own separate thing. So we're going to take the p and set it equal to 0. And then we're going to take this whole thing in the parentheses, 200 minus 5p, and set that equal to 0. So we have our two problems. We're good to go. Now we can start solving. Zoom out. Move it on up. There we go. All right, so the problem on the left, p equals 0. Well, p is already by itself, so we're done. If they charge $0 for the tickets, they're going to make zero money, zero revenue. So the only one that we have to do some work with is the one on the right. Put my line down the middle. All right, I have positive 200. I'm going to do the opposite, minus 200 or negative 200, depending on how you want to think of it. 200 minus 200 is 0. Now I have to remember I got to bring this whole thing down to the next step. Negative 5p. I cannot forget that negative or the minus that becomes a negative. 0 minus 200 is negative 200. All right, last step. Divide by negative 5 so we can get that p by itself. Divide by negative 5. P equals negative 200 divided by negative 5 is going to give us a positive 40. And we're done. So the two answers are $0 or $40. If they charge $0, they make no money. If they charge $40, they make no money. We're done.